So it's been a while since we've done a garden update. I have to say, it's been a mix of a lot of things. Planting straight to seed, we're not going to do again next year, at least for a handful of things. That failed a lot. And then not only that, between the weather we've been having, that it was just so cold, we couldn't start the garden until so late, but then it just got insanely rainy and we couldn't really work on the garden, and then it got insanely hot and it was just tough. And I've also been dealing with a lot of sciatica pain since last October, and it's really kind of been really hard to work on the garden and bend over and do things because I've been in a lot of pain. And for a while also just kind of put me in a funk, and I just felt like I can't work on my garden, and then the garden was failing more, and that was just really discouraging. And finally I kind of just stopped feeling sorry for myself, and I just kind of picked up the old bootstraps like a few days ago. And my husband's been awesome. Tyler helps so much with everything. But the garden is my space that I love and I'm obsessed with. And so even when I saw him doing things, it just kept making me sad that I wasn't the one doing it and doing enough. So the weeds got out of control. I finally got them. And so then it was also just embarrassing to show, because honestly, for a while, it was just grass. So I'm gonna turn this around and kind of show you what we were dealing with, and then show you how we finally got it under control and turn it back into our garden. So this right here is the only spot we really haven't done anything else with. And this is honestly not even as bad as what it all looked like. So the entire garden, you'll see that there's one green bean plant in the midst of all this, but honestly the entire garden was just this, with plants barely bigger than this up until just a few days ago. And I'm talking the grass that was like this was up to this. We did weed around this a little bit, and so that's kind of cleared out a little bit better than what it was. But I mean, imagine the green bean plant in the middle of like this chunk. That's how it was, and the whole garden was that way. It was honestly, it just looked like our yard had grown up and happened to have some random plants in it, and it was really discouraging, really sad. And I thought, how is anything gonna grow with that? And not only that, but I had bought a pack of 300 onion bulbs to add to the onions we had already planted, and they completely failed. I also did a row of carrots. Pretend you didn't see any of the good stuff yet. Did a row of carrots, not one came up. So this is kind of our failure row of carrots. Again, this is like the length all the grass was. It was the whole thing was grass. You can see we started to tarp down because this was supposed to be carrots. That was supposed to be peppers. Not a single pepper plant came up. Not a single carrot came up. So we put this one must have been a newer tarp, because the other one, if I move that, I can show you. We're just trying to get this to more easily, see how that's kind of back to dirt. Trying to get it more easily back to dirt so we can deal with it. But enough of the bad, let's show you the good. The pumpkins, as always, pumpkins never fail, you guys. I just absolutely love it. This was straight from seed. The pumpkins are something that can always go straight to seed in the garden. And you don't have to start them inside. They get way overwhelming when you do. And they're beautiful and amazing. Let's turn this around so I can tell you how big. All the sunflower plants are taller than me. They're insane. All of these ones are taller than me. It's crazy. They have just really, but those are volunteers. Those came, I didn't plant a single one of these. Every time we have sunflowers, I let a ton of the heads drop and just put their seeds back in. They always come up great. So the sunflower plants did amazing. Corn is finally, this I would say is a little past my belly button, not quite up to the chest yet. So this corn was straight from seed, and honestly for a while we thought that failed, but it really bursted open and started, which was so great. These potato plants, I think that these were all the volunteer ones that came up from potatoes that we left in the ground last year, but they're doing really great. And then there is some potato plants among the weeds here. And then here finally looks, you guys, these were the rows that were really depressing because they were long grass like this. You couldn't even really see the corn much. And I couldn't weed it at the time because the corn was so small that when I was trying to weed it, it was just pulling up the corn with it. So I had to wait until the corn got this tall. We just did this a few days ago. So we were literally having to come around. It was this tall of grass all the way up to it. And we were just having to come, shake all the dirt off and pull these massive, long grasses out. And finally, honestly, they come out a lot easier than it seems. But finally, after doing that for about 3 or 4 days straight, our corn aisle looks amazing. The corn was like that. Luckily, my amazing aunt, the same one who her and my uncle had come and made our garden bigger last year, they donated some green bean seeds that are just their own heirloom seeds they've been saving for like over a decade. And thank goodness for that, because look at all these green bean plants. So I planted that whole row. And again, it was another one that was just nothing but weeds and depressing. They all popped up and they look amazing because these ones that I bought the seeds of, we planted this whole thing. This whole chunk had to have had like 50 seeds put in. And look at, there's this one sad one that I kind of must have started to weed around and forgot. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then those ones back there are just volunteers that came up from last year when I accidentally planted vine beans. But yeah, 7 of the 50 green bean seeds that I put in here came up. All the pepper seeds failed. All the carrot seeds failed. My second round of onions that I put in failed. And I think a lot of it was just due to the extreme heat we had and how late I had to plant them in the season. But luckily, our first onions that we planted are doing amazing. Look how massive some of these are getting. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. They're looking really great. I'm so excited about that. And all the potato plants that you saw us plant, all the potatoes you saw us plant have come up. This batch especially been doing really, really well. Some of these are already dying out, and I'm really curious to know if they really have much under them because the plants themselves didn't get super, super big. So I'll definitely be digging those up. Honestly, probably within the next week or so as far as that row goes, just because they're already died out. I don't know if it's just because they were kind of the most beat by the sun or what, but we've got those. And again, we're going to just probably tarp this side, probably even right over this green bean plant, or maybe I'll try to transplant that one over to there so we can tarp this and get it ready. Because what we're going to do is all the places that failed, we're going to just do our fall crops there. So we're going to do like our second round of potatoes. We'll try another round of corn and maybe a couple other things that we know can just be hardy and take that cold. But yeah, so when it got down to seeing how everything was failing except for certain ones, that's why our garden's pretty much nothing but corn and beans and potatoes, because those were the things that were doing well. So we just kept planting more. We didn't want to waste the space. We've got more potatoes up there doing awesome. I'm just so very grateful for my aunt giving me these green bean seeds because they are just doing wonderful. And I'm so excited because, like I said, between just not having so much ability to do as much and the weather just being crazier than Michigan has ever thrown at us, I got a nice basil plant. Let's make sure we take those flowers off, huh? Beautiful basil plant. It smells so good. And I can't remember what this one is. So put in the comments if you know what this is. I think it's thyme, now that I think about it, because I always try to have a little bit of extra time. No, I always try to put some thyme and basil in because those are two things that I really love to use the most. That one's doing okay. It was definitely surrounded in, like I said, pretty much nothing but grass is what we were dealing with everywhere. And so it was crazy to get this under control, but then once we did, it was so nice to see how really beautiful it got. And we do have some tomatoes finally happening. Those we did from seed too. Honestly, a lot of the ones that we did are coming up really well. You can see that they're as tall as up here, which is great. This one has some started. Unfortunately, those ones are on the ground, but we have started to tie them up, so we're getting these others off the ground. We've got this pretty big cherry one, and then our cucumbers are doing great. Started those as seeds, and they're really starting to finally take off. I had to kind of help guide them yesterday and get them onto things that we want and clip some of these extra big leaves out of the way, because there's definitely a lot of those taken over. It is so funny. Our rhubarb is always massive. It's kind of getting a little bit eaten up right now, but honestly, that's all right. It's kind of nice when you have something that is so overly abundant for the animals or the bugs to go at, so they stay away from everything else. You'll see they go at the sunflowers just a little bit. The sunflowers have plenty. Oh, I just noticed this. Y'all, the first head is coming. That is so cool. Oh my gosh, very first sunflower popping. That is so awesome. We do have a pepper plant that we bought here. There was a second one, so we bought a couple as plants. One of the plants didn't even make it. We did buy a couple more pepper plants down there, so hopefully those kind of spring up, because we love peppers. Our loofah gourds are doing well. I didn't even have to guide them, you guys, and look how beautiful. Ooh, a beautiful little pollinator hanging out in the garden. We love to see that. We absolutely love to see that. But look at how wonderful that loofah gourd plant is doing, crawling up there. I mean, they just really know what they're doing perfectly. We've got a little lavender here. It smells so amazing. Our marigold doing good. And then we've got some birdhouse gourds and cucumbers over here. These ones, again, had to be kind of guided a little bit. But hopefully, now that we've kind of told everyone where they need to be, hopefully they all stay on track and do what they're supposed to. But yeah, it was definitely a rough start. And look at it from this way. I can't get over how awesome the pumpkins always do. It was definitely a super rough start, and I just kept feeling like, why is the garden worse than ever? You think we should get better and better. But my husband pointed out it was two things. One, we're getting busier. Our kids are getting older, and we're doing more things, and we're, always trying to change and grow the farm. And when that changes and we get busier, there's less time we have to this. And not only that, but I did try something new where we went straight to seed this year, and we knew that maybe it wouldn't work. We thought it would save us some work by not having them inside for that month or so before you bring them out. But honestly, it put in way more work, because the thing about another reason why this grass grew up around it is because when I would start things inside and they'd be a nice plant, they'd be like these pepper plants that we just bought, right? Those ones are big enough that I can come out here, and we did just mow, so that's kind of perfect too. Told my daughter I'd pay her if she'd rake up this stuff for me today so I can do this. But this plant is big enough that you can take the dried out grass and you can start putting it around like I've showed in previous years, right? You can put that around, and even if it's a little bit green, that shouldn't hurt that plant. If the plants are really, really tiny, when they're starting from seeds and they're coming up tiny, they're too small to do this with, because if that decomposes and just kind of burns out the plant, then that's exactly what happened. The plant gets burned out and it can't handle that. So it was a bummer, because then it's also more fragile when you're weeding around it, because you don't want to pull the plant itself up. So we're definitely seeing that there's a lot of negative things about starting from seed, especially when you can't start earlier in the spring. When you're starting in that summer and everything's ready to grow and come up already. More potatoes, I just love it. But yeah, when everything's ready to grow and come up already, that includes the weeds. And if you can't put the mulch around it, then it really does create way more work. So I said it was an experiment, and we tried it. Next year, we are 1,000% going to start things inside. I definitely want to start tomatoes and peppers and beans inside. I still would say obviously potatoes, you start outside. They do awesome. I always do onion bulbs. I don't know why the second set of onion bulbs did not go. All I can think is because it was right when we got blasted with some insanely crazy heat. So that's all I can think for that. But yeah, so there's definitely certain things that you can still start in outside. Like I said, potatoes start outside. Your sunflowers, let them volunteer wherever they want. They're always good to start right out here. Corn is a really great one to just seed outside. Corn knows what it's doing. It does a really great job. Definitely seed that outside. Pumpkins, seed outside. Yeah, green beans, peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes, gourds, start those things inside. Gourds actually, I mean, they did all right outside because they like really hot weather, and they're gonna grow up how they want to, crawling up things. So that can be either or, honestly. But yeah, definitely a lot more things I'm gonna start inside because they need to be big enough for me to straight mulch by the time they get out, if you don't want all that work of having to weed so much and everything. And then we did a little seating area kind of nicely out here. It's cool because it's right by the field, which right now all you can see is corn, which I still love. But when the corn isn't here, this is actually a really beautiful view of this open field. You get a lot of sky. There's a beautiful farm over there, so you can see, you know, there's silos and everything. And I mean, just the most wonderful sunsets ever. And the other bench just stares straight at our beautiful garden. Beautiful now that we figured it out. But yeah, so that's why you guys haven't seen a video update from it in a while. Like I said, a lot of it was just me feeling a little bit discouraged and a little bit kind of at first really disappointed in myself because I was confused at why it was the worst garden ever. But like I said, sometimes we all just need our husbands to remind us, or our loved ones or anyone's to remind us that, you know, sometimes you're just busier and sometimes there's other things going on. And especially if you have some sort of health thing holding you back, that happens as well. And also, he just also reminded me we did things way different this year. And it's a good thing that points out like that it didn't work. It's okay to try something and find out it doesn't work. It feels a little stressful because you like want to undo it and go back to the ways that it did work. But that's exactly what we'll do next year. So we'll go back to all the good things next year, and we'll give way more updates now. I'll admit a lot of it was just embarrassment. It was just all grass, and it felt like I did not want to put that up. And but then I also had to remind myself that we like to be honest with people and not just show the good things. We got to show the hard stuff too, so that y'all know we are beyond human. So hopefully you guys learn something from my mistakes and can utilize that next year. Isn't this a fun shirt? We had a friend visit the farm and made this shirt. Isn't that so cute? It's got all the fun stuff on it. But yeah, so hopefully you can learn from our mistake, whether you can implement that this year still, probably a little bit late for that, but maybe you can implement it next year. I know I'm definitely going to change back to some of the old ways next year. And hopefully you guys are surviving all this heat and have an amazing day. I don't know if y'all can see, but there's 2 extra piggy bums running around. We decided to let the meat pigs out because we have just been getting absolutely pelted with rain, just bombarded, and it is just getting crazy. And so their enclosure was just getting too muddy. So the other day we undid the couple boards and let them out, and they've been loving it. Honestly, I think they're gonna gain more weight being outside, even though they have more room, just because there's just so much we need help catching up on in the yard, and they've been grazing like crazy. Pepper did put them in their place. She put them in their place right off the bat, but then everything was good. They were out all morning doing good. Butter's in here, little mama to be. Well, she was out free ranging too, but we're pretty sure that she is about to burst. So she is hanging out in here. And we got everything set up this way. Yeah, not really pretty because there's a fly trap right there, but it's doing its thing. It needs to. They seem to like butter the most, so we wanted to put a trap near her house. We've got a heat lamp already set up to be plugged in the second there's babies, and got that all cleaned out so babies can for sure get down there this time and be nice and separated from mama. But yeah, Butter's looking pretty big. I think she's actually pregnant this time. She looks great. She's being nice and lazy. You're about to put your bum in the bowl. She's getting fresh water in a second anyway. But yeah, so she's hopefully gonna pop within the month. We really hope so. And we've got Spooks. We've got Drizella over here sitting on another thing of eggs. I can't remember how many I saw. I'm pretty sure there was a couple chicken eggs in there. I'm really hoping that when they hatch first that she still stays on there for the ducklings, because chicken eggs will hatch before duck eggs. Her duckling that survived still doing really good. Nice and big in there with all the chicks. Keep getting more and more of those. Don't know how. Percy escaped. Oh my gosh. Our pigeon number is back up, you guys. And it is the best thing in the world. Pigeons are just so awesome. Everyone should have pigeons. They're so great. Percy busted out the other week. Of course, always when Ty's at work. So we had to put even more wood up. I think we had already done this one. And he broke out over there. So we went ahead and did that section, this section, and got some top boards up on all the rest. And the bottom, eventually it is all going to be like this. But we're just doing it little by little. Just because we're doing it when we get that quick chance, and because lumber's crazy. But we found out some of these are actually nice 10-foot and less sections. So that'll be nice. And easy to buy and plug in and fill. And we took out the wall here. They had a doorway, so this wasn't ever like closing these two off. But it was always there in case we thought we needed 3 separate things. But it was just getting run down and beat up, and we decided we didn't need that. And it's so much bigger and better without. And this should be much stronger now, so he shouldn't be able to get on any and lean on it to the extent of bringing it down. He was just getting a little too excited with those girls out free ranging, and I think Pepper might have been maybe going into heat or something, and he just got out. Either that or it's when we had the big storms. My other thought was, did he get so scared during that last storm when things came absolutely sideways? I don't know. Jonathan has a friend. This rooster was getting picked on where he was, so we put him in here. He actually did have a hen yesterday, but she got out of that. So we're gonna put her in the evening this time. That way we know the pigeons that live in here are in here for the night, and we'll close that up. That way she's in there with them. Princess Mia is still sitting on her eggs like she should. I think they're due in like 2 weeks. And Prince is right in front of her. He's molting. I've been getting so many great feathers from him. He's awesome. This is another one that needed repaired this week, because one of the animals must have forced themselves in this way, and then Prince was getting out. So we had to repair that one. Yeah, we had to repair that. Had to repair Percy's pen. Had to repair one of the doors on the goat enclosure. You guys are always causing a need for something, aren't you? Look at this one. Like eyelashes way out here. He was playing in the mud somewhere. She's so funny. She looks a lot more like her papa. Got that kind of longer, skinnier face. And that straight hair. The other one is my favorite, though. She is cute. Let's go see if we can find her. She's got curly hair and the best hairdo ever. She's not... Funny enough, they actually don't stay together. I kind of thought because they were kind of caged together, because that's how like sheep and goats are. They kind of get their crew, and that's who they travel with and stay with. But I don't even... Oh, she's in her enclosure. That's why the other one was muddy. Must have come in for some mud. Yeah, this just got... We had taken this off, and when we were not getting a lot of rain, that would drain everything out here, and then this would actually stay nice and dry like the way it is at the edges here. But we got 3 storms right after another and just got absolutely beat down with rain. And this got so bad, and we were like, we have to let these girls out because that was just really bad. So yeah, so we took off those bottom two and they're able to get out. Look at her though, she's got more curly hair. Oh, your hairdo's not all straight. Did you rub it off on something? Usually she's got the funniest bangs. Maybe it's just because they were wet the other day. But all this was just like straightforward, and it was just the funniest thing in the world. That's so cute. I wonder if she was rubbing on something, because she's got it all kind of rubbed off now. It's hot. Did you go back in to get in that mud? Because it's so hot out. Yes. She is so cute. So cute. Huh. You're so sweet. I'm just out here hanging out with Dinkins and the sheep and the emus. We still have Chrissy. She's so cute. I love the way she just springs around. We've gotten on a couple. She gets riled up like Betty, her Bambi. Bambi's like forever a baby and just cracks me up. But Bambi and Darling and Chrissy will just do that cute little like bop, 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 kind of that springy little goat trot around. I love seeing pigs out and about. They're just funny. So many other animals are like typical free-ranging animals. People don't realize, especially breeds like Cooney Coons and stuff, they are massive herbivores. They love to eat on greenery and grass and everything, and it is just so funny. Just the best thing ever, seeing them out and about. Oh, Dinkins. The emus have things growing in their enclosure somehow. I swear it's been forever that it's just been kind of almost desert-like in there, because we had, 4 emus in there at one point in time, and they beat everything down pretty good. And then when we got rain, it would just all kind of like perfectly angled where it would run off. We're also really close to the lake, you guys. It's really funny. We have really great ground to grow our garden and everything, but it's because it used to be a pasture, whereas this is really what's just a few inches down is just pure. I mean, this is beach sand. This is straight up like Michigan beach sand. It's crazy, but yeah, they got these ones here. The pigs are both chasing, like, what is it? And they think you got some grub. Silly girls. But yeah, they got this awesome crazy weed that's growing like a bush, and I love it. And they've got these cute little bits of grass here. Do you have some greenery in there, Blondie? And their trees are getting nice and big, so they've got great shade, and yeah, it's just looking awesome. I can't wait until that's all wood. You can see we tried to do it in a pattern so that as we're doing it, it doesn't look too crazy, but it's gonna be awesome once that's all wrapped around. It'll be really nice and really, really strong. But yeah, so that's an update on the garden, update on the farm.